Have you ever walked into a room and felt all eyes on you, but instead of feeling confident, you froze, unsure how to stand, where to look, or what to do with your hands? The truth is, body language makes up more than 70% of how others perceive you, and sometimes just a few small adjustments in posture, eye contact, or a simple smile can instantly make you appear more confident and charismatic. In today's video, we're going to uncover some powerful body language hacks that will help you radiate confidence in any situation. Confidence is not always about what you say. Often it is about how you carry yourself. The way you stand, walk, or even how you hold your head can send a message far louder than your words ever could. That is why the concept of power posture is so vital when we talk about body language hacks for confidence. It is simple, effective, and deeply rooted in both psychology and physiology. Standing tall with your back straight, shoulders open, and chin slightly lifted can completely shift not only how others perceive you, but how you perceive yourself. Imagine walking into a room full of strangers at a networking event. Your first instinct might be to hunch your shoulders slightly, keep your arms close to your body, or shrink into the corner. Why? Because your brain is sending signals of insecurity and trying to protect you from social discomfort. Yet, when you consciously change your posture, straighten your spine, open your shoulders, and ground your feet, you instantly project authority. People notice. You no longer look like someone who wants to hide. Instead, you appear like someone who belongs in the room. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. The posture doesn't just affect others. It directly affects your own state of mind. Research in psychology, especially studies on the power pose, has shown that adopting expansive postures can increase feelings of confidence and reduce stress. When you spread out your body, even just slightly, your brain interprets it as a sign that you are safe and in control. As a result, your body releases hormones associated with power and reduces those connected to anxiety. So, in essence, when you stand tall, your body is not only broadcasting confidence outwardly, but also reinforcing it internally. The beauty of power posture is its accessibility. You don't need any special training, expensive clothes, or years of practice. Anyone, at any moment, can shift into a posture that communicates confidence. Before a presentation, take a deep breath, roll your shoulders back, and plant your feet firmly. Before an interview, remind yourself to lift your chin and avoid slouching. Even if you feel nervous inside, your posture can trick your mind into a calmer, more empowered state. It's a subtle but powerful tool, almost like flipping a hidden switch inside your body. Consider athletes before a big competition. Watch how they stand before stepping onto the field. They're not slouched or closed off. They stand with a kind of quiet strength. Their chests are lifted, their stances grounded, their movements deliberate. This isn't just physical, it's psychological. They're preparing their minds for victory by placing their bodies in a position of power. You can apply the same principle in everyday life. When you need to project certainty, your posture becomes your armor. Another important aspect of power posture is its effect on communication. Think about giving a speech or leading a meeting. If you're standing with rounded shoulders, head tilted downward, and shifting your weight nervously, your audience will pick up on your uncertainty instantly. On the other hand, when you stand tall, face your listeners directly, and maintain steady body alignment, your words carry more weight. People naturally associate upright posture with leadership and credibility. They're more likely to trust you, believe you, and follow your lead. It's also worth noting that posture isn't just about standing. It's equally relevant when sitting. Sitting hunched over your phone or laptop, arms crossed tightly, signals defensiveness or lack of energy. Sitting upright, leaning slightly forward, and keeping your chest open shows engagement and confidence. This matters in job interviews, important conversations, or even casual discussions where you want to make an impression. The person across from you is subconsciously reading your posture and making judgments within seconds. But let's be realistic. Maintaining a power posture consistently can feel unnatural at first, especially if you've developed habits of slouching or keeping closed-off body language. The key is to practice in small doses. Start by checking in with your body a few times a day. Are your shoulders rounded forward? Are you collapsing into your chair? Are you tucking your chin downward? Every time you catch yourself doing these things, adjust. Open your chest, lengthen your spine, and lift your chin slightly. Over time, this becomes second nature. There's also an emotional element. When you carry yourself with power, you often invite others to treat you with more respect. People mirror the energy they perceive. If you look like someone who values themselves, others will value you too. Conversely, if you carry yourself as though you want to disappear, people may overlook you. It's not about arrogance or pretending to be someone you're not. It's about embodying the best version of yourself through your physical presence. Some might argue that posture is superficial, that true confidence comes from within. While that is partially true, it overlooks the profound connection between body and mind. Your inner state influences your outer form, but the reverse is equally powerful. By changing your outer form, you can shift your inner state. It's a two-way street, and power posture is one of the fastest, most effective ways to initiate that change. Let's think of some practical scenarios where you can use power posture to your advantage. Before a big date, check your stance in the mirror and make sure you're not slouching. Before a job interview, stand tall while waiting in the lobby instead of shrinking into your chair. Before speaking in public, take a moment backstage to roll your shoulders back and expand your stance. Even in everyday interactions, ordering coffee, greeting a friend, or entering a meeting room, your posture sets the tone before you even speak. It's important to strike a balance, though. Power posture doesn't mean being stiff or robotic. Confidence is communicated through ease, not tension. Stand tall, yes, but stay relaxed. Let your movements flow naturally. The goal is to project grounded energy, not to look like you're forcing yourself into a rigid pose. Ultimately, power posture is less about pretending and more about aligning your body with the confidence you want to embody. Over time, what starts as a conscious adjustment becomes your natural state. You'll notice that people respond differently to you. Opportunities come more easily, and you feel more capable in situations that once made you nervous. All of this begins with something as simple as how you hold yourself. So the next time you catch yourself shrinking, folding in, or trying to disappear, remember, confidence is just a posture away. By choosing to stand tall, open, and grounded, you're not only influencing how others see you, you're reshaping how you see yourself. And that shift can make all the difference in your personal and professional life. Eye contact is one of the most powerful nonverbal tools you can use to project confidence. It is said that the eyes are the windows to the soul, and in many ways that is true. The way you use your eyes communicates volumes about your character, your intentions, and your sense of self-assurance. A strong, steady gaze can establish trust, authority, and presence before you've even spoken a word. Yet, eye contact is often misunderstood or mishandled. Too little can make you seem insecure or untrustworthy, while too much can come across as aggressive or uncomfortable. Striking the right balance is the secret. Imagine walking into a room full of people. You immediately feel anxious and wonder how to connect. Instead of fumbling with your phone or avoiding attention, you make eye contact with someone, hold it for a moment, and smile. That single gesture builds a bridge. It says, "I see you, I acknowledge you, and I'm confident enough to connect." The person is likely to respond positively because eye contact is deeply tied to human connection. It signals attentiveness, respect, and openness. In professional settings, eye contact becomes even more crucial. During an interview, for example, maintaining good eye contact shows the interviewer that you are confident in your abilities and engaged in the conversation. If your eyes dart around the room, focus on the floor, or avoid the interviewer altogether, it can suggest nervousness, dishonesty, or lack of preparation. On the other hand, steady eye contact communicates competence and credibility. It reassures the other person that you know what you're talking about and that you can be trusted. Eye contact is also central to leadership. Leaders who look their team members in the eye while speaking convey authority and authenticity. They appear present, invested, and genuine. Think about influential speakers, whether it's a CEO addressing a company or a political figure speaking to the public. They rarely stare down at their notes for long. Instead, they lift their gaze and make deliberate eye contact with individuals in the audience. This creates a sense of connection, as though the speaker is speaking directly to you. That personal connection makes their message more compelling. But let's be honest, maintaining eye contact can be intimidating, especially if you're not used to it. Some people worry they'll come across as staring or overly intense. The trick is to balance confidence with warmth. Instead of holding someone's gaze unblinking, think of eye contact as a natural rhythm. Hold it for a few seconds, then glance away briefly before returning. This mimics the natural flow of conversation and avoids making the other person uncomfortable. There are also cultural nuances to consider. In some cultures, direct eye contact is a sign of respect and confidence. In others, prolonged eye contact can be seen as disrespectful or confrontational. That's why it's important to be sensitive to context and adapt accordingly. Still, in most professional and social environments, steady eye contact is viewed positively and strengthens your presence. Another powerful hack is the triangle technique. Instead of staring at someone's eyes without variation, you can shift your gaze subtly between their eyes and mouth, forming an imaginary triangle. This keeps your focus steady but dynamic, making the interaction feel more natural while still projecting confidence. It also helps when you're nervous, as it gives you a small structure to rely on. Eye contact isn't just about confidence, it's also about listening. When someone is speaking to you, giving them your full attention through your eyes shows respect and engagement. It communicates, "I value what you're saying." This makes the other person feel heard and respected, which strengthens trust. Confidence isn't always about dominating the conversation. It's often about making the other person feel comfortable and important. Eye contact helps you achieve that. There's also a neurological aspect worth noting. Eye contact stimulates the brain's social and emotional processing centers. When you engage with someone's eyes, your brain releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone. This fosters feelings of trust and connection. In other words, eye contact doesn't just look confident, it actively builds relationships on a biological level. Think about the times you've seen someone avoid eye contact in a conversation. Maybe they kept looking at their phone or glanced around the room constantly. How did it make you feel? Probably that they weren't interested or that they lacked confidence. Now flip that image. Think of someone who looked you directly in the eyes, nodded as you spoke, and stayed fully present. You likely walked away feeling valued and respected. That's the power you wield when you use eye contact intentionally. Practice is key here. If holding eye contact feels uncomfortable, start small. Practice during everyday interactions. Say thank you to a cashier while maintaining eye contact, or greet a coworker with a steady gaze. Build up your comfort gradually. Over time, it will feel more natural, and you'll notice how people respond to you differently. They'll take you more seriously, engage with you more fully, and view you as more self-assured. Of course, balance remains essential. Too much eye contact without warmth or breaks can feel intimidating. The goal is to be steady but approachable. Combine eye contact with relaxed facial expressions, a genuine smile, and open body language. This creates an aura of confidence without veering into dominance or aggression. In public speaking, one helpful technique is to divide your audience into sections and make eye contact with individuals in each section. This gives the impression that you're speaking to everyone while still making personal connections. People in the audience feel seen, which keeps them engaged. Confidence in this context isn't about never looking away, it's about deliberately choosing moments of connection. Ultimately, eye contact is a simple but profound body language hack for confidence. It requires no special training or dramatic gestures, just the willingness to meet someone's gaze and hold it with presence. Done well, it makes you appear more trustworthy, authoritative, and charismatic. More importantly, it helps you build genuine connections, which is the foundation of influence. So the next time you feel nervous about speaking, meeting new people, or entering a high-stakes situation, remember this: your eyes are your strongest ally. Look up, meet their gaze, and let your confidence shine through silently but powerfully. In a world full of distractions, being fully present through eye contact will always set you apart. Gestures are often overlooked when people think about confidence, but they are an essential part of communication. Words matter, yes, but the way you move your hands, arms, and body can either reinforce your message or weaken it. When your gestures are controlled, open, and purposeful, they amplify your words, making you seem more trustworthy and self-assured. On the other hand, fidgeting, twitching, or folding your arms too tightly can send signals of nervousness, insecurity, or even defensiveness. Mastering controlled gestures is about learning how to use movement as a tool for impact instead of a distraction. Think about the last time you saw a powerful speaker. Chances are their hands were not hidden in their pockets or nervously tapping on a table. Instead, they were using their hands deliberately, emphasizing key points, opening their palms to signal honesty, or using measured movements to draw the audience into their story. Their gestures matched their words, creating a sense of harmony that felt natural and convincing. This is no accident. Controlled gestures are part of what makes a speaker magnetic and memorable. The psychology behind gestures is fascinating. Humans have been using body language to communicate long before spoken words evolved. Subconsciously, we read gestures as signals of intention and trustworthiness. Open hand gestures, for example, are universally recognized as non-threatening and sincere. When you show your palms while explaining something, people instinctively feel you are being honest. In contrast, gestures that are hidden, jittery, or excessively exaggerated can create doubt or discomfort in your audience. Controlled gestures are not about being robotic or stiff. They are about being intentional. For instance, instead of nervously clasping your hands together and wringing them, you can use one hand to lightly emphasize a point. Instead of crossing your arms across your chest, closing yourself off, you can rest your hands comfortably at your sides and bring them into play when you want to highlight something important. The goal is to move with purpose, not out of nervous energy. Fidgeting is one of the biggest giveaways of insecurity. Tapping your foot, playing with a pen, touching your face repeatedly, or constantly shifting your weight can make you look anxious even if you feel prepared. The key is awareness. Next time you're in a conversation or presentation, notice what your hands are doing. Are they reinforcing your message, or are they undermining it? Once you become aware, you can begin to train yourself to replace restless movements with calm, confident gestures. One helpful strategy is to practice anchoring gestures. These are a few reliable, natural movements that you can use to steady yourself during conversations or presentations. For example, spreading your hands apart slightly while explaining something complex can help make your point clearer. Using a subtle upward gesture with your palm when offering an idea shows openness. Resting your fingertips together lightly can project thoughtfulness. By rehearsing a handful of these anchoring gestures, you give yourself tools to lean on instead of defaulting to nervous habits. Gestures are also deeply tied to storytelling. When you tell a story with your words alone, the listener uses imagination to fill in the gaps. But when your hands move in sync with your narrative, drawing shapes in the air, mimicking actions, or creating emphasis, your story comes alive. The audience can see the story as well as hear it. This makes your communication more engaging and memorable. Confidence is not just about saying the right words. It's about making people feel your message. Another important element is timing. Gestures should flow naturally with your words, not feel forced or out of place. If you wave your hands too much without connection to your message, it can feel distracting or theatrical. But if your gestures land at just the right moment, like a hand sweep to emphasize "all of us," or a pointed finger when saying "this matters," they create a sense of conviction. Controlled gestures are about quality, not quantity. A few well-placed movements will always be more powerful than a flurry of restless motion. Beyond public speaking, controlled gestures matter in everyday interactions too. In meetings, placing your hands on the table with palms visible communicates openness and readiness. In conversations, using small, measured gestures makes you look engaged without overwhelming the listener. Even in casual settings like chatting with a friend or greeting someone new, your gestures send signals about your confidence level. When you move with ease and intention, people sense that you are comfortable in your own skin. Cultural context also plays a role here. Gestures that seem normal in one culture can be misunderstood in another. For example, pointing directly at someone may be seen as rude in some countries, but normal in others. When practicing controlled gestures, it's important to be aware of your audience. Universally, though, open and calm gestures are perceived positively across cultures. They transcend language barriers and create an impression of trust. One exercise to practice controlled gestures is to record yourself speaking. Notice what your hands are doing. Are they adding meaning, or are they flailing around with no purpose? Once you identify your habits, you can consciously replace distracting movements with controlled ones. Another practice technique is to rehearse in front of a mirror, focusing not just on your words, but on how your body supports them. Over time, controlled gestures will feel more natural, and you won't even have to think about them. It's also worth noting that controlled gestures do more than just influence how others perceive you. They affect how you feel. Just like posture, the way you move your hands and body feeds back into your own brain. Smooth, deliberate gestures can actually calm your nervous system, helping you feel more grounded. Instead of letting nervous energy leak out through random fidgeting, you channel that energy into movements that strengthen your presence. At the core, controlled gestures are about alignment. When your body language matches your words, you come across as authentic. Authenticity is the foundation of true confidence. People don't just want someone who acts confident. They want someone whose words, tone, and movements all say the same thing. When you use gestures with control and intention, you create that harmony. So the next time you're about to give a presentation, attend an interview, or even engage in a meaningful conversation, remember this: your hands are powerful storytellers. Use them with intention. Replace nervous fidgeting with purposeful movements. Align your gestures with your message. By doing so, you will not only appear more confident, you will feel more confident too. Controlled gestures are not about putting on a performance. They are about unlocking the natural presence you already have. A smile is one of the simplest yet most powerful body language hacks for confidence. It may seem almost too obvious, but the impact of a confident smile extends far beyond just looking friendly. Smiling at the right moment transforms the atmosphere of an interaction, builds trust instantly, and radiates self-assurance. A confident smile is not about forcing a grin to mask your nerves. It is about using your facial expression as a tool to project warmth and certainty, both to yourself and to those around you. Think about the last time you met someone new. If they greeted you with a tense face, furrowed brows, and no smile, you probably felt uneasy or even unwelcome. Now imagine the same scenario, but this time the person smiles, genuinely, openly, and calmly. Immediately the tension eases. You feel seen, accepted, and more willing to engage. That's the magic of a confident smile. It bridges the gap between strangers, diffuses awkwardness, and sets the stage for connection. From a psychological perspective, smiling has a fascinating dual effect. When you smile, your brain releases endorphins and serotonin, chemicals associated with happiness and relaxation. In other words, smiling can improve your mood even if you don't feel particularly confident in the moment. It tricks your brain into believing that everything is okay, which then lowers stress and anxiety. This is why smiling before a presentation or interview can calm your nerves. On the outside, it shows the world you are approachable. On the inside, it signals to your brain that you are safe and capable. But not all smiles are created equal. People can quickly detect the difference between a forced smile and a genuine one. A confident smile is relaxed, natural, and often engages the eyes, what psychologists call a Duchenne smile. This type of smile lights up your whole face and communicates authenticity. Forced or nervous smiles, on the other hand, tend to involve only the mouth and can actually make you look less confident. The key is not to plaster a grin on your face constantly, but to let your smile appear in moments where it naturally enhances the interaction. In professional contexts, smiling strategically can work wonders. During an interview, a genuine smile at the beginning sets a positive tone. It shows that you are not only confident but also personable, which is a quality employers value. When giving a presentation, smiling at key moments makes your delivery more engaging. Audiences are more likely to trust and connect with speakers who appear warm and approachable. Smiling in a negotiation can soften the atmosphere and create goodwill without weakening your position. It demonstrates calm confidence rather than desperation. Smiling is also contagious. Neuroscience has shown that when people see someone smile, their mirror neurons activate, and they are more likely to smile in return. This creates a ripple effect. Your smile makes others feel good, which in turn makes them associate those positive feelings with you. Confidence, therefore, becomes a shared experience. You project it through your smile, and others reflect it back. This is especially valuable in leadership roles, where your demeanor can set the tone for an entire team. Beyond external perception, a confident smile also influences how you carry yourself. When you smile, your posture often improves automatically. Your shoulders loosen, your breathing slows, and your body language becomes more open. This creates a positive feedback loop. Smiling makes you feel more relaxed, which makes your posture more confident, which then reinforces the authenticity of your smile. It's a cycle of confidence fueled by something as simple as moving a few facial muscles. However, it's important to strike balance. Smiling excessively or at inappropriate times can dilute your message. Confidence isn't about grinning non-stop. It's about knowing when a smile adds value. For instance, smiling during a serious discussion might seem out of place, but smiling at the beginning and end of the conversation can make you come across as both strong and approachable. The goal is to use your smile like a spotlight. Turn it on when it highlights your presence, then let it fade when a more serious expression is needed. Cultural context also plays a role in how smiles are interpreted. In many Western cultures, smiling is widely associated with friendliness and confidence. In some other cultures, however, excessive smiling might be seen as insincere or even a sign of weakness. That's why it's important to be mindful of context. Still, in most situations around the world, a warm, well-timed smile is received positively and builds trust faster than almost any other nonverbal cue. You can practice your confident smile just as you would practice posture or gestures. Start by relaxing your face and thinking of something genuinely positive. It could be a memory, a song, or even a sense of gratitude. Allow that feeling to shape your smile. Notice how your eyes slightly narrow and your cheeks lift when it's genuine. Practice in front of a mirror until it feels natural, not staged. Over time, this becomes effortless, and you'll find yourself smiling with confidence in real interactions without even thinking about it. Think of how a smile impacts specific scenarios. Walking into a networking event, a confident smile helps you break the ice with strangers. Meeting someone important for the first time, your smile instantly sets the tone of friendliness and professionalism. Even in small daily interactions, like thanking a cashier or greeting a neighbor, smiling boosts your confidence because it shifts your focus outward, toward connection rather than self-consciousness. Ultimately, a confident smile is about alignment between your inner and outer self. It is not about faking happiness or putting on a mask. It's about choosing to project positivity and calmness even in challenging situations. When you smile with confidence, people not only perceive you as more likable and trustworthy, but you also reinforce your own inner belief that you are capable and in control. So the next time you feel your nerves creeping in, before a meeting, a date, a speech, or even a casual conversation, remember that your smile is your secret weapon. It requires no preparation, no special skill, and no elaborate effort. Just a genuine, confident smile can transform both how you feel and how others experience you. That simple curve of the lips has the power to disarm tension, spark connection, and radiate confidence louder than words ever could. Confidence is often mistaken for speed, as though moving faster somehow signals decisiveness or control. In reality, the opposite is true. True confidence shows itself in slow and steady movements. People who are comfortable with themselves do not rush, fidget, or dart around nervously. Instead, they move deliberately, with intention, and at a pace that communicates calm authority. This principle applies whether you are walking into a room, taking a seat, or simply gesturing during a conversation. The way you move becomes a silent announcement of your confidence level. Think about how it feels to watch someone hurry through their actions. Perhaps you've seen a speaker shuffle their notes quickly, rush through their words, or pace erratically across a stage. Even if their message is strong, their hurried movements betray insecurity. Now picture another speaker who takes their time, walking steadily to the center of the room, pausing before beginning, and moving with composure. Their calm presence holds the audience's attention effortlessly. Their slowness does not bore, it captivates because it exudes control. The psychology behind this is simple. When we are anxious, our bodies try to release nervous energy through quick or restless movements. We tap our feet, shift in our seats, or rush our speech. These actions unconsciously signal to others that we are unsure of ourselves. Confident people, however, do not feel the need to rush. They understand that time is on their side. By slowing down their movements, they project composure, clarity, and self-assurance. Walking is a perfect example. Imagine two people entering a meeting. One rushes in quickly, almost stumbling over their steps, and hurriedly sits down. The other walks at a steady pace, places their bag carefully and takes a seat with measured ease. Without saying a word, the second person has already established themselves as more confident and reliable. The difference lies not in what they say, but in how they move. Even something as simple as sitting can reveal confidence. Slumping into a chair or dropping down carelessly suggests nervousness or lack of respect for the situation. By contrast, lowering yourself into a chair with deliberate steadiness, spine upright, movement smooth, signals that you are in control of yourself and the environment. Small details like this accumulate into a larger impression of authority. Slow and steady movements also apply to gestures. Instead of waving your arms frantically or snapping your hands around, make your gestures controlled and deliberate. A slow hand raise to emphasize a point has more impact than a flurry of rushed motions. When you extend your hand for a handshake, doing so calmly and firmly, without rushing, immediately sets the tone of confidence. The message is clear. I am present, I am grounded, and I am not in a hurry to prove myself. One of the most powerful uses of slow and steady movement is in public speaking. Confident speakers know the value of silence and stillness. They pause before speaking, move deliberately across the stage, and allow space between their words. These pauses and measured actions create suspense, clarity, and authority. Audiences naturally lean in because the speaker controls the rhythm. Contrast that with a nervous presenter who rushes through their sentences, paces uncontrollably, and fiddles with their hands. Their lack of control makes the audience uneasy. Confidence is not about filling every moment with action, but about owning the space between them. Slow movements also communicate respect. When you take your time with your actions, you show that the moment matters. Think of someone pouring a glass of water carefully versus someone splashing it in without thought. The former suggests mindfulness and composure. The latter suggests carelessness or impatience. In interactions with others, your calm, steady pace shows that you value the exchange and are not desperate to rush away. It's important to note that slow and steady does not mean sluggish. Confidence is about controlled energy, not lethargy. Moving too slowly or lazily can suggest disinterest. The sweet spot is a pace that is relaxed yet purposeful. It shows you are in command of your body and your environment without appearing either frantic or disengaged. Practicing this body language hack can start in simple ways. Begin by paying attention to how you walk into a room. Are you rushing or are you moving with deliberate ease? Notice how you sit down. Do you collapse into the chair or do you lower yourself with composure? Practice making hand gestures slowly, ensuring they match the rhythm of your words. Record yourself speaking and observe whether your movements seem rushed or calm. With practice, you will learn to replace nervous energy with deliberate steadiness. There is also an internal benefit to moving slowly and steadily. When you slow down your body, your mind follows. Your breathing becomes more even, your thoughts clearer, and your presence stronger. Instead of feeding into a cycle of nervous energy, you break it. You create a loop of calmness that strengthens both your inner state and your outward projection of confidence. Think of leaders you admire, whether in business, sports, or public life. How do they move? Rarely do they rush or flail. They walk into rooms with composure, they sit with calm assurance, and they use gestures sparingly but powerfully. Their movements signal that they are in control not just of themselves, but of the situation. This is the essence of confidence expressed through body language. Ultimately, slow and steady movements remind us of a simple truth. Confidence is not loud, frantic, or rushed. True confidence is quiet, deliberate, and grounded. It does not demand attention, it commands it effortlessly. By training yourself to move with intention, you can project this kind of presence in every area of your life. So the next time you feel nervous, whether walking into a meeting, stepping onto a stage, or even shaking someone's hand, pause, breathe, and slow down. Let your movements flow with purpose. In doing so, you will radiate a level of calm confidence that words alone could never achieve. Confidence isn't just about what you say, it's about how you show up. By applying these simple body language hacks, you'll not only be heard more, but you'll also create a powerful presence that draws people in. Remember, your body language is the mirror of your inner confidence. If you found these tips helpful, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss out on more valuable content coming your way.